Do you see it? Do you see the hat that I'm wearing? If you can see this hat that I'm wearing, you're probably wondering, Cash, why are you wearing the Trump hat? The election's over. And the news says that Sleepy Joe won. And then I'm just like, I told y'all that was a lie. I told you that was a lie. Did y'all watch Mr. Rudy Giuliani today? If there was ever a time that I felt hopeful, I mean, I already had faith. I already had hope, right? But now I'm a lot more hopeful, okay? So I need all of you guys right now, before we get started, to please share this video out, no matter what platform you're watching me on. If you are watching me on Facebook and you did get notified, God bless you. That's dope. But switch over to YouTube, because I'm being shadow banned hardcore. I shared a post and didn't get a reaction for like 10 minutes. And then the highest reaction that I got was like 70. Normally I'm like 1,000 in the first 60 seconds. But it's okay. It's whatever. We're being shadow banned on Facebook, so please switch over to YouTube. I appreciate it. Let's get started. Sum of All Parts, episode 9. Let me introduce our guest. First, we have Anthony, Be the Change, Rusi.
Rudy.
I agree. Rudy. How you doing, brother?
Doing fantastic. The one funny thing I want to mention from that press conference is Rudy Giuliani's hair dye when he started to sweat was going down the side of his face. I had to laugh on that one. But
it's all good.
Rudy killed it. Rudy.
He did. Bringing up next, since Anthony stopped talking,
Well,
we're going to bring up
one
of my favorite people, Miss Shelly.
Hello. So should I come in with the like Sidney?
There you go.
You can do that. we accept that. We accept that. Next, we are bringing up another one of my all-time favorite people in the entire universe, Miss Brittany. What's up, girl?
Brittany. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm with that. I'm with that. So, how you guys doing?
Living
Good.
Who all watched it? Who watched it? I know you did, Shelly. You called me like, yo, Cash, did you see? So a little bit of hope, right? A little bit of something to be proud of, hopeful about.
100%.
Check this out. There's something that stood out when he was talking, right? Pennsylvania. The margin of the false victory for Biden was 69,140, right? Out of 682,770 ballots, right? Of those 682,770 ballots, there are sworn affidavits with those, okay? With those, that there was no inspection of the ballots, which were mail-in ballots, by the way. These were all mail-in ballots. How crazy is that? 600,000 plus sworn affidavits that they were not inspected. That's number one. Number two.
220 something swore affidavits that 600,000 ballots were not inspected. So the sworn affidavits were like over 200, but it was regarding 600,000 plus votes. Just to be clear.
Oh, I don't know. I was just listening to Rudy. I wrote it down verbatim.
It should be the other. There's no way to get 600,000 affidavits, but regardless, it's 600,000 votes.
Whatever. Still, 200. Well, fine. For argument's sake, we'll say 150,000. That's a whole lot of freaking people, bro. That's a whole lot of freaking people. They're like, yo, they didn't check those. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Then on top of that, you remember when Biden was like, we have the best voter fraud team in American history? Bro. They messed up, though.
That was really Biden talking.
Yeah, they messed up. They messed up. They messed up big time, because if you got the best team, why would you push people out from being able to inspect the ballots? And they just so happen to be all Republicans. You pushed everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Not just that. Everywhere in the world that there's a vote, there's always people there to inspect them. Always. So that right there makes you be like, hold on, wait a minute, something's up here.
You gotta go.
Why would they do
till
this?
you're done.
You know what I'm saying? Then Pittsburgh. There were 17,000 voters that was turned away because they told them when they came in to get their provisional ballot, when they were like, yo, I want to come vote, they told them you can't vote. They said, well, why? They said, well, because you already casted an absentee ballot. They said, no, I didn't. They said, yeah, you did. They're like, nuh-uh. They're like, 17,000 in one city. That is insane, bro. Talk to me, guys. How we feeling about this right now?
Before we get, can you send Suni the link? She's hit me up now.
I sent it to her.
She said she didn't get it.
Oh, Suni. Yes, I will resend it.
Okay, carry on.
Gotcha. Y'all go ahead. Talk about it.
I mean, I think it's this is all part of the bigger picture of us. All we want is it to be a fair election and to count the votes. That's the purpose of democracy. And we're not giving enough. Here's what we have. We've got reasonable doubt in the election. So all we want reasonable doubt is for us to the election process. Why is it that you're being planned?
I can barely hear you, Russo.
Why is it that we are being slammed for just wanting a fair election? I don't get it. It doesn't make any.
If there was one location that had voter fraud, why is it so taboo to say, oh, that's ridiculous? Like, this is an election. This is a huge thing. I don't understand why it's being shunned, or like Trump's getting asked in interviews, like, are you just a sore loser? No, that's what second place gets to do, is ask for a recount and say there's fraud. I don't understand why both sides shouldn't be contesting this. It should be, heck yes, let's do this. Let's investigate. Like,
we allowed $40 million of taxpayer dollars to go into Russian collusion for 3 years. Why is it that we can't have just a little bit of time that Trump is paying for out of his campaign funds to investigate the election?
I mean, well, let's be honest. It's because it's Trump. That's why. That's plain and simple. It's because it's Trump and it doesn't fit their narrative and it does not fit their agendas. My thing with this election is not only should us as Trump supporters be concerned about it, us as Americans should be concerned about it. Because right now, this is the candidate that we're rooting for. But the next election, it could be the left's candidate.
100%.
Can I say something else?
Everyone should be concerned about this election.
Let me say one other thing. Somebody commented, they're like, why, to me directly, they're like, well, why, if you want to be fair election across the board, why isn't Trump investigating the counties that are, not as white or not as Republican? Well, first off, he might be. We don't know. But if Biden has this huge legal team, if there was anything found in those counties, wouldn't he be actually investigating those to make sure? So it's not up to us right now. Maybe that's the whole point. The place showing irregularities are the places that are in favor of Donald Trump. So that should raise even more eyebrows instead of make people go, well, why are you investigating in the first place? That's why. So leave it to Biden's. If Trump's not exposing the other stuff, leave it to Biden's team to go, something's wrong here. But they're not.
It's the thing. This is the thing, right? If you guys want to crown Biden as your president, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, cool. If you really wanted it, though, wouldn't you be like, you know what? We got nothing to worry about. Let them redo it. Let them recount it. Let them audit it. Let them audit the vote.
I think
that way we can prove one time and once for all that after they recount everything and they show that Biden won fair and square, they can shut up. That's what I would do.
Exactly. And if Biden's claim to fame now is, it's time for our nation to heal and he wants unity. So I'm thinking if that was Trump, and I support Trump, right? So if it was roles were reversed, I would want Trump to come forward and say, hey, I want my supporters to know that I want a fair election and that the people have spoken, because I do want to create unity. I want to be completely transparent because I believe this is a time in our nation where we need to start the healing. Nothing, crickets on their side.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Suni. Let's hear you weigh in, girl. We ain't got to see you in a while. Talk to us.
I mean, this this election was a farce, and what it did was completely remove people's trust in government and America. Period. It's a joke. Nobody believes these results, and anybody who does, I think something's going on.
I agree. I
There's
agree.
no way he got all those votes the way he
Well,
did.
And even if it was, even if, let's just hypothetically, if it was a fair election and the votes were what they were, if 73 million people that voted for Trump or supposedly allegedly voted for Trump, if they all feel that there's some type of fraud, how are you creating unity at all? Half of your voters think you cheated to get to the top. Nobody's going to respect you. Nobody's going to take you seriously, or maybe the not my presidents will start again, who knows. But if you wanted true unity, why would you not address those 73 million people?
Well, you know what I find interesting? Have you guys seen all these different videos popping out now of people wishing that they didn't vote for Biden?
Yep.
They're all coming out saying, we wish we
Already?
didn't vote. Yes. And then check this out. Biden, I don't know if you guys caught this, but when he was talking, he said, I beat the socialists. I beat the socialists to become the primary, to become the president-elect, right?
And
Talking about
who's
Bernie.
he putting in his cabinet? Who's he going to put in his
No,
cabinet?
listen, check this out. Check this out. He said he beat the socialists, meaning Bernie Sanders. Bernie got behind him before he said these things. Bernie was behind him. So then he betrays Bernie by calling him a socialist. Number one. He's like, look at my history. I don't got a history of being a socialist. I beat the socialists, right? That's number one. And then all these people that are saying, well, we want you to not put people that are owners of big corporations. We don't want them to be a part of your team. We don't want them to be a part of your cabinet and all these things. And then these are the people that he's getting behind them. And here's the thing to all the people that voted Biden. You voted for Biden because you didn't want a racist, right? You didn't want somebody that was bought and paid for by big corporation and big business. And you didn't want socialism or whatever it was that you said. Yet you voted Biden. You voted Biden, a man that's known to say some racist things, that was backed by the billionaires. He is the billionaire's choice. People don't understand this. He was put in there by the billionaires, man. They funded him. They funded him. So the very people that you don't want, you vote for the guy who's backed by these people. So you think the man said he's going to cure cancer. The man made a promise and said that if he gets elected president, that he is going to cure cancer. That's a very bold statement and a promise that I guarantee you he cannot keep. If he does, God bless him. And I hope to God that he could. I hope to God that he does it. But I don't know how miraculously, after all these people have been putting all this money into curing cancer for such a long time, that this man could come flat out and say that he's going to cure cancer as a campaign promise.
Maybe because of his cancer. What was it that they pay more their employees out of pocket and zero money for actual research? So if you're not doing any research, how the fuck are you going to cure it?
And then you voted for the guy. You're like, you're all America and all this, but China is having celebrations based on this man winning. That should scare everyone. Why is China so happy about this man being elected the president, supposedly? Why?
Here's
because
the
their
thing.
economy.
The way that he ran his campaign, and I had an argument about this on Facebook with somebody. The way he ran his campaign was like an 8th grader, Biden meaning, like an 8th grader trying to get elected to student council vice president or student council president. He made these platform promises, and I had to actually hear people go, don't you want all these things? Absolutely, I want a cure for cancer. I want us to rid ourselves from war. I want us to have health care for everybody in the United States. But there is no pragmatic reason that it made any plausible sense that it would actually happen. So people were voting based on a completely false promise that was never actually possible. They're like, how could you be such a hateful person that you don't want this? Of course I want all these things. Of course Republicans also want all these things, but we understand what's possible and what's not possible.
Well, and not to mention the whole cancer thing, Trump's been, at least to my adult knowledge, Trump has been the first person to actually combat big pharma. And in order to cure cancer, this is going to get a little political, but you have to attack big pharma. There's no interest in curing cancer in big pharma, period. And the fact that no other president has addressed big pharma, they want to come out with these fancy healthcare plans. They want to put their name on it. They want to make it look nice for the people. But at the end of the day, if you don't figure out the problem behind the cost of medicine and what big pharma is doing, you're never going to cure any of these things. The FDA will shut it down.
I'm telling you.
People voted off their feelings. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't like Trump, so I have to get Trump out. I actually had a guy on my show. He was like, I saw you with the hat on and I had to come talk to you. And he's Jamaican. I don't like Trump. And I'm like, why? I don't like the way he talks, his rhetoric. I'm like, okay, that's great. So what else? Well, I like Biden's policies. I'm like, all right, you can come on the show. Well, I like what he has to do about coronavirus. I said, what would he do that Trump didn't do? Well, okay.
Nothing. Crickets.
Well, he's a racist. So we showed him every single video that would prove he's not a racist. By the end of the show, I'm pretty sure he got red pilled. He was like, I'm going to keep watching your show. And he inboxes me every now and then for information. But he openly admitted that he was dumb enough to vote for Biden because he was in his feelings. Mm-hmm. That's why people voted for Biden. That's it.
That's why most people voted for Biden. Straight up.
But not 73 million, 75 million.
Hell no. That dude had a bigger turnout than Obama. That's impossible. That is impossible. He crushed every record that was set, man. And the dude had a campaign with geese. There's no way. There's no way. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I want to get more into the whole stuff that Giuliani was talking about. Russo, can you pull up any of those clips, man? Some of the key parts, the key components to what it is that they got?
I'm on my phone, so the chances of that are slim to none.
Okay. Can you send me the
I'm
link?
out on the farm right now.
Can you send me the links to my messenger and I will open them?
Let's see if I can do that. I'll start looking for them. Go for it.
Okay.
Keep chatting.
All right. Yeah, I'm trying to look this up.
I shared.
What do you want?
Gosh, I shared the live. I shared the live of him, Sidney, and the other attorney on my page. So it's on my page too if you want it.
Okay, let me go and find it real quick.
Go on her page real quick.
This is getting good, y'all. I told everybody. I'm sorry. Look, you guys, if you're watching me from Facebook, I love you. I really do. But I'm being shadow banned on there. I literally have 100 people watching me from Facebook. Everyone else is on YouTube. We only got 350 on right here right now. And that shit is nuts because normally we'd be almost 1,800. I'm being shadow banned. So if you could switch over.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Cass.
If you could switch over and watch me from YouTube. I shared it on my page. If you could, because fuck Facebook. Sorry for the language, but fuck Facebook. Seriously. I hate you. I hate you, Facebook.
You should say that.
My question, I'm trying to fact check something about the amount of people that voted in Michigan. So the Michigan, and they talked a little bit about that. And there's the rumor that it's fake news, but I can't find why it's fake news because it says that the total amount of active registered voters is 7.1 million as of October, and the registered voters is 8 million, which means there could have been 6 years between voting, which is fair. So let's say 8 million registered voters could have gone up a couple 100,000 right before. Where is the number of total votes cast in Michigan that have been counted? Because I think that's a key number because it's coming up in different sides saying there's more people than were actively voters, which would be really difficult. I think it'd be simple to prove, but I can't find the actual vote count. If it's all the way up to 8 million and 100% of people voted, that's ridiculous. And that shows some issues, but I can't find that seemingly very easy statistic.
Hold on. I think I just figured out how to, let me see. I think we got it. Let's see. I love Giuliani, boy. I'm telling you, that man made me proud.
So did Sidney. I was like, oh, she came out.
So did the woman that had the smile the whole time that I thought was a plant.
Her, the one right behind them. I can't remember. She
Yeah,
attacked media hard.
Yeah, she was good.
Let's see.
Why would you do that? Because you're cheating on purpose. Vote. Because you knew that illegal immigrants were going to be allowed to vote. You knew, I don't know, maybe you could say she's lying, but you can't say is horrible, and the censorship that you're imposing is making it worse. But Jessie Jacob is an adult citizen and a resident of the state of Michigan. She's been an employee of the city of Detroit for decades. I know her age, but she can tell you her age. She was assigned to voting duties in September, and she was trained by the city of Detroit and the state of Michigan. She was basically trained to cheat. She said that I was instructed by my supervisor to adjust the mailing date of these absentee ballot packages to be dated earlier than when they were actually sent in. The supervisor made that announcement for all workers to engage in that fraudulent practice. That's not me saying that. That's just American citizens saying that under oath. I don't know. Maybe you could say she's lying, but you can't say there's no evidence. This is what we call evidence. This is direct evidence, not circumstantial. I tried many, many cases, as did all my colleagues here. You put a witness on a witness stand, the witness is testifying to their own knowledge. This witness goes on the witness stand and she will say, I was told to adjust the date on the absentee ballots. I witnessed election workers and employees going over to the voting booths with voters in order to watch them vote and coach them for whom to vote. Completely illegal. She will testify to that. I don't know. Biden's people can cross-examine her, but you can't just throw it away. Gee, there's no evidence. Next time you say that, you'll be lying. Because there is evidence. This, oh, by the way, this is public. You can all get it. It's attached to the complaint in Costantino versus the city of Detroit. Then she was instructed by my supervisor not to ask for a driver's license or any photo ID when a person was trying to vote.
Look at that. That right there. That's a
Don't
big
ask
thing
for
right there.
Identification. Why would you not ask for identification? Because you knew that a lot of people not entitled to vote were going to come in and early vote. Because you knew that illegal immigrants were going to be allowed to vote. You knew, if you lived in Philadelphia, unless you're stunad, that's an Italian expression for stupid. Unless you're stupid, you knew that a lot of people were coming over from Camden to vote. They do every year. Happens all the time in Philly. It's about as frequent as getting beaten up at a Philadelphia Eagle football game. Happens all the time. All the time. And it's allowed to happen because it is a Democrat corrupt city and has been for years. Many, many years. And they carried it out in places they could get away with it. They didn't carry it out in neutral places. They didn't carry it out in Republican places. They didn't carry it out where the law is respected. They carried it out in a corrupt city where the district attorney releases criminals en masse, which is why it has so much crime. She also said, I observed a large number of people who came to the satellite location to vote in person, but they had already applied for and submitted an absentee ballot. So she observed a lot of people voting twice.
I'm sorry, but are you guys hearing this? Are you guys hearing this? This isn't even all of it. You know what I'm saying? It's insane.
Yep.
Watch people vote twice. People didn't have to provide an ID. All types of shit. But we're supposed to buy the results. And they get mad saying that we should just accept that this has been the most secure election in history. Really? Fucking insane. I'm gonna keep it rolling, guys. If you could mute your mics while the video's playing, y'all, so we're not hearing nothing in the background.
Again, this is Jessie Jacob, not me. I was instructed not to invalidate any ballots, and not to look for any deficiency in the ballots. Why would you do that? Because you're cheating. On purpose cheating. Intentionally cheating. You're cheating as a institution. This is an instruction from the election commissioner or the employer to the worker. Don't look for any deficiencies in the ballots. I was instructed not to look at any of the signatures on the absentee ballots. If she was instructed to not to look for any of the signatures on the absentee ballots, why the heck do you sign it in the first place? In order to identify it. She was instructed not to do that because many of the absentee ballots were fraudulent, and they knew that, and they didn't want to have a count of that. On November 4, 2020, I was instructed to improperly predate the absentee ballots when the receipt date was actually was after November 3rd, 2020. Now, this is really significant because Justice Alito of the Supreme Court instructed Pennsylvania that any ballot that comes in after 8 o'clock on November 3rd, 2020, had to be put aside and not opened because there's a question as to its legality and its constitutionality. What she's telling you is that they blatantly disregarded that order, that they took ballots that were marked the 4th and the 5th and the 6th, and they marked it down for the 3rd in blatant disregard of the order of the United States Supreme Court. This is I don't know if she's a Democrat or Republican. I assume if she's working for the city of Detroit that she's a Democrat. I assume, but I may be wrong. She's a citizen. I've never met her, never coached her. And I'd like you to note that it's signed under penalties of perjury. We have 100 more of these. I can't show them to you because those people don't want to be harassed. They don't want to have their lives torn apart by the goons on the other side. We don't do that to them. They've done that to a lot of our people. They've done it for 4 years. And it's outrageous that it's tolerated, and it's tolerated because you condone it in the press, and you don't cover it, and you don't condemn it. And it shouldn't happen to a Republican or a Democrat. A lawyer shouldn't have to withdraw from a case because he's representing the President of the United States. There are many more affidavits here. I'd like to read them all to you, but I don't have the time. You should have had the time and energy to go look for them. That's your job. Like it's my job to defend the president and to represent the president. It's your job to read these things and not falsely report that there's no evidence. Do you know how many affidavits we have in the Michigan case? 220 affidavits. They're not all public, but 8 of them are. 4 affiants here, those are people who give affidavits, report an incident that under any other circumstances would have been on the front page of all your newspapers if it didn't involve the hatred that you have, irrational, pathological hatred that you have for the president. What they swear to is that at 4:30 in the morning, a truck pulled up to the Detroit, were in garbage cans, they were in paper bags, they were in cardboard boxes, and they were taken into the center. They were put on a number of tables. At that time, they thought all the Republican inspectors had left, all but 2 had, and an employee of Dominion, who we will address a little bit later, Dominion. And here's what they jointly swear to, that every ballot that they could see, everything they could hear, these were ballots for Biden. When they saw a ballot, these were ballots only for Biden, meaning there was no down ticket, just Biden. Many of them didn't have anything on the outer envelope because these ballots were produced very quickly, very swiftly.
Okay, you guys, look, we just heard a whole lot. All right, there's a lot being said. This is off. And the crazy part about it is people are like, that's not evidence. That's not evidence. What do you think they use in a court case? Sworn affidavits, testimony. That is one of the biggest parts of a case is sworn witnesses. And people are like, that's not how. Well, let me tell you, you ask anybody that's ever been on trial for anything if sworn testimony does anything, if it has any kind of bearing. And they're gonna tell you, especially if they're from where I'm from, they're gonna be like, oh hell yeah. Oh yeah, they got him. They got him. You know what I'm saying? Russo, weigh in on this real quick because I know you got to head out of here in like 2 minutes. Can't hear you.
You're muted.
How about now? How about now?
Yeah.
How about now? All right.
Yeah.
So the thing is, he said the key was he talked about he gave exactly that, specific examples which are enough to show that they have a case. That's the whole point. They want to have a case. If you've got a case, then you actually take it to the next level, which they're doing. And that's huge. That's important. That's the whole concept, is the fact that at this point, we have reasonable doubt that the election is incorrect or the election is in question. That's all we need, and that's always providing it to keep hearing people going, why is it that we're not hearing the evidence? I don't know how, like, do these people expect that we're going to put up on a gigantic board, he's going to do a PowerPoint and show every bit of evidence? He's got an hour to talk, and guess what? The media on other networks, which didn't cover it besides Fox, the major mainstream media, they're going to take a minute and a half out. So what's the point on him drawing up a whole legal case? That's what the actual case is going to be for when you're with the Supreme Court or when you're with the state Supreme Courts, etc. And the key thing that he said in another part was the fact that people keep talking about throwing out that they're throwing out the court cases, which that woman that, if you were listening, she is an independent reporter, which will never hopefully get a job because she was absolutely absurd and never let him answer the question she was asking. He simply said, there's a lot of other cases going out that are being thrown out here and there. He's like, we've got 3 main cases. So everything that the mainstream media is covering is actually not our cases. Our cases still hold weight, and we are still in the process of finding them, which the American public thinks is a lie because it's not being put on mainstream media. So nobody, unless they watch Fox, which people think Fox is the devil, so they won't watch it. It's impossible to get a fair answer. So ultimately, my final statement is Rudy killed it. All the other legal team were fantastic, and they did what they had to show personally to me, which was they've got the evidence to move forward, and we currently do not know who our president is right now. That's it. Reasonable doubt. That's all I got.
I agree. Just seeing right now, the White House is going live on a coronavirus briefing. Does anybody care about that? Do you guys want to watch that?
It's on C-SPAN, so it's probably factual.
Yeah, but do we really care at this point about what's going on with Rona?
I don't. I mean, I don't know about everybody else.
Oh, is it with Corona? I thought
for the people watching, do you want to watch it or do you care? Because I'll put it on here if you want me to.
I don't either, because I don't think that's all actually true either.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Corona's a farce, but hey.
Hey, John teacher.
I'm good off coronavirus.
Hi, guys.
All right. So you guys want to? Should I keep playing? Rudy? Should we let Rudy go?
I want to answer somebody's question. Some people in the comments kept stating about like they weren't asked for ID, and I kind of thought that too because I wasn't asked for ID. So there are states that do not require ID at the ballot box: California, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Vermont, Virginia, Wyoming, and Washington, and Washington, D.C., and North Carolina as of December 31st, 2019. There's no ID required in those states. Why? I think that an ID should be required every time you vote. But that's just me.
I agree. All right, let's pull up Rudy. Let's keep it rolling. Y'all mute your mics for me. Okay, don't know what's going on here.
You might just have to refresh.
Yeah, looks like we're at 24 minutes, 6 seconds.
The president. What they swear to is that at 4:30 in the morning, they were in paper bags, they were in cardboard boxes, and they were taken into the center. They were put on a number of tables. At that time, they thought all the Republican inspectors had left, all but 2 had, and an employee of Dominion, who we will address a little bit later, Dominion. And here's what they jointly swear to, that every ballot that they could see, everything they could hear, these were ballots for Biden. When they saw a ballot, these were ballots only for Biden, meaning there was no down ticket, just Biden. Many of them didn't have anything on the outer envelope because these ballots were produced very quickly, very swiftly, and they're estimated to be a minimum of 60,000, maximum of 100,000. Many of them were triple counted, which means they were put into the counting machine this way. Once, twice, 3 times. I didn't see that. I don't know that, but for the fact that 3 American citizens are willing to swear to it. And we're not going to let them go to court and do that. We're going to let this election go by when there are, in this case, 60 witnesses that can prove what I'm saying to you and other acts of fraud in Michigan. I mean, what's happened to this country if we're going to let that happen? What happened to this country if we're going to cover that up? We let Al Gore carry on an election dispute longer than this one has been going on for one state and for Chad's. This happened in Pennsylvania. It happened in Michigan. Michigan probably right now, if I count up the affidavits, just one case alone, Trump v. Benson, a case that we dismissed today because that case was attempting to get the Wayne County Board of Supervisors to decertify. Well, they did. They decertified. That case has 100 affidavits. And the 100 affidavits show essentially what I've talked to you about. Counting ballots improperly, counting them 3 and 4 times, having people vote 3 and 4 times, changing and backdating ballots to the point of at least 300,000 illegitimate ballots that we can specifically identify. The margin in Michigan was 146,121. And these ballots were all cast basically in Detroit that Biden won 80-20. So you see a change as a result of the election in Michigan, if you take out Wayne County. So it's a very significant case. That is being raised in the case of Costantino versus the city of Detroit. Not by us, but by an individual plaintiff. We are helping and assisting in that case, however. And you can find all the.
Hold on real quick, guys. Everybody watching right now, and it's not many. It's only like 350. All right. I need y'all to do me a favor. Share this. Share this video for me right now on your social media. Appreciate you. Love you. Let's keep going.
Affidavits that you want filed in that case. And you can find out they're not just allegations, they're allegations supported by sworn testimony, which is a lot better than Joe Biden has ever done on anything. He doesn't answer questions, much less give you sworn affidavits. Wisconsin had a very small margin, 20,544 last time I looked. In Wisconsin, without going into great detail, very similar plan. Republicans shut out in the city of Milwaukee and also in Madison. Republicans almost uniformly shut out from the absentee process, not allowed to inspect, not allowed to look at the ballots. We have in Milwaukee and in the state of Wisconsin a much stricter law. Wisconsin doesn't allow mail-in ballots. They didn't buy into the big mail-in ballot situation. Wisconsin, when you look at their constitution, almost seems to not like absentee ballots. They state it's not a right, a privilege. And they have very, very strict procedures. And the strict procedure says that you can't be given an absentee ballot. You have to personally apply for it. It's illegal, basically, to solicit a vote. And they have actually many reasons for it. That probably goes back to their progressive days. When I say progressive, I mean late 19th century, early 20th century progressive, when that really meant progressive, not retrogressive. So there are 60,000 ballots in Milwaukee County and 40,000 ballots in Madison that, as far as we can tell, and this is why we're auditing, because we have very good information, the numbers are going to come out about here, that don't have applications. Under the law of the state of Wisconsin, already decided, if there's no application for an absentee ballot, the absentee ballot is thrown away. This all happened in two places in Wisconsin. Didn't happen in northern Wisconsin. Didn't happen in Republican Wisconsin. Didn't happen in neutral Wisconsin, where there are an equal number of Republicans and Democrats. It happened in a place where the vote was 75, 80% for the Democrat. You take away any number of those, and that 20,000 lead disappears. In other words, if you count the lawful votes, Trump won Wisconsin by a good margin. Indeed, if you count the lawful votes in Pennsylvania, he won it by about 300,000 votes. Also, in the lawsuit filed in Wisconsin, which is really a petition because of their procedures, there were no inspectors provided for the count of the illegal ballots.
Okay. It's just going to keep going like that. We're going to pull it back up. I'm going to skip ahead in a minute. We'll skip ahead to the other lady that was talking and hear what she had to say. But how does all this stuff make you guys feel? Hearing all this and knowing everything that is going on. How do y'all feel about it?
I think I expected it from the beginning, to be honest. Like the minute we were while watching it live and they stopped the vote, and there were like Michigan was showing like a discrepancy is what you pull up on the internet as opposed to what we actually saw. So right away I knew something was not right. There was just way too many things right from the jump. And then by the next morning, like literally 3 hours later, his votes had went up so significantly. I thought there's no possible way. Like, to be honest, I think even before the election, I thought when he wasn't out there campaigning and he was not out there like Trump was out there, I already knew something was going on. I was like, they got a little trick up their fucking sleeve because Joe Biden's still in the basement. He only comes out for air once in a while. So none of this surprises me. I just think that, again, for everybody, it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on right now, everybody should be concerned about this because we basically them cheating is saying that our voices don't matter.
Exactly.
And when people say to me, well, we the people have spoken. And I'm like, well, you the people are excluding the 73 million people that came out to vote for Donald Trump.
I agree.
And we're not all crazy and radicals.
Facts. Suni. Or go ahead, John Tisha, go first, and then we'll go to Suni. Because Suni, I know you over there crunching numbers right now, girl. You gonna hit him over the head. So John Tisha, you go ahead real quick.
Yeah, I don't have numbers. I just have whatever information I've gathered over time. And I'm pretty sure they've been talking about this, like kind of piggyback off Shelly, is that they've been talking about this for months, that this is where we're headed. But I think the biggest disservice to the American people right now is that as much as they want to encourage voters, they are discouraging the voter confidence that a lot of first-time voters had this year. There are so many first-time voters this year because this election was so important to them, and we were all talking about it and getting that information out. So many people got involved for the first time. I'm one of those people. I have not ever been involved in any type of political anything in my entire life until this year. And so that's got to tell you something, that more voices are rising up for what's right versus what's wrong to people in general, and not just Democratic or Republican or whatever, but really it comes down to freedoms, to spiritual freedoms, to personal freedoms, to what what America was built on, and what we continue to strive to build it towards, why the whole world continues to look for us. And I think that is so discouraging for all of the voters, the young voters who have been voted, but then only to feel they can't track their ballots on where's my ballot. Even though, for example, I was one of them, I requested my ballot to be sent to me because I just don't like leaving if I don't have to leave. So if it can be sent to me, send me that, plus the sample ballot, because it gives you all the information on the local level, all of the measures, all of the props that they're trying to sneak under there, and what it constitutes within that, so that because last time I voted, this was the second time I voted. Last time I voted, I had no idea what those measures were, and I was just going with the best information that I could at the time when I was reading it, which was at an actual location. And I was like, I think I messed up on some of them. And then when the actual props like passed and they described what they actually entail, I was like, oh no, that's not what I meant, or whatever. And I knew at that point that I cannot be the only one that does not understand what these little blips in the ballot actually mean and what they entail. And I felt like my husband and I, Chris, we needed to step up and to help our local community, because it's not just on the high level, it goes all the way down, it trickles all the way down. And I'm in California, so y'all feel my pain. I know you do. Governor is not a good guy.
No, I hear that.
Because of that, I know so many people who couldn't find their ballot, but also they're like, so my vote really doesn't count. No, it does. It does. It absolutely does. And we can't allow people to feel like their voice doesn't matter. That's so important.
You're right. I agree. But speaking on California and Gavin Newsom, that dude is such a freaking hypocrite, bro. So you seen where he went out and he sat down at a party or a restaurant with his people, and nobody had a mask on. He didn't wear a mask yet. He's on people in California like crazy. And then the dude comes out and he starts apologizing. I should have did this. And, I know I'm always the one preaching and I should be practicing, but I made a mistake. He had a little false ass smile on, just like a regular politician, just like a politician. You know what I'm saying? Rules for thee, not for me. You know what I'm saying?
How in trouble too.
8%. How does that constitute a complete shutdown of the entire state?
It shouldn't. That's the whole point. What were we about to say, Brittany?
He already got in trouble with Miss Harris over walking over somebody's property when their house got burned down during the California fires. Him and Miss Kamala had a photo op on someone's property that the people who own the property couldn't even step foot on yet because it was still being investigated. And the insurance adjusters hadn't been on their property yet, but they noticed their chimney, their car, all these things in the background that were still standing. And they started to sue both of them for making it political and a photo op. Can you imagine seeing your remains of your home on a picture of the governor? Like, Way to go,
That's not
guys.
We have the same thing in Illinois. We have Governor Pritzker and his daughter. I would say Prickster. That's what I call him. But so anyway, so his daughter went to. We're back in. We're on phase 3 again. That happened like 2-3 weeks ago. So you can't eat in a restaurant, anything like that.
Mhm.
So, but his daughter was at a fancy schmancy steakhouse downtown with 14 of her friends.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
They're
Rules
out
for
there
you, not
telling
for me.
you, yep, it's good for the goose, but it's not good for the gander because they really don't.
Sony, I know you holding back, girl. Release.
Oh, my bad.
Get it, Sony.
So I tracked the election all night. We watched the maps and we watched it by county. Everything was set to go. Like you could tell Trump was going to win. It was obvious, especially if you looked at Michigan, you looked at Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. In every state that there was a 49-50 split, and I mean percentage-wise, Biden's at 49, Trump's at 50. Every single state, there's a glitch. Imaginally, just every single one of those glitches gave Biden the exact votes
That
to
he
put
needed.
him over the top of Trump.
Exactly.
Every single vote. Like, I think Wisconsin was 70,000. He got 70,000 immediately. 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning. He called it. Trump called it at 2 a.m.
He
with
did.
his press conference.
He did.
So that's what, keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. You guys
It's cool.
go ahead. Get him, girl.
Michigan, I think it was 150,000 votes. 4 o'clock in the morning, 150,000 votes. Pennsylvania, they didn't do the computer glitch, but they did do 1 million mail-in ballots solely for Biden. None of those ballots went to Trump.
Allegedly a million.
Arizona is still finicky because we're still waiting for Maricopa County. And even then, there's still drops coming in. They're still finding piles of ballots everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how this election has been like 2 weeks now. It's called election day for a reason.
This is election month now.
It's crazy.
You know, I know what happened. I don't know if you guys seen it. They put it on PBS. You know how people ain't been having babies and stuff, man. The storks, they drop off ballots now, not babies.
But every glitch was exactly the same. Mm-hmm. I know most people, they're like, they don't pay attention to this stuff, and that's fine. But I'm sitting here telling you, every single glitch, and you can look for it yourself, every single glitch was exactly the same. A 50-49 split in every single state. All the votes that Joe needed.
All the battleground states. How come Texas and Florida didn't have this problem? And it went smooth. You noticed that, right?
Yep.
Only in the states that it was needed in did it happen in. It's crazy.
And Florida, I think it's Florida they had theirs counted and done. Like with record fucking time.
And that's what doesn't make sense. Why are these tinier states having these issues? Like, if California can count their millions in 2.5 seconds after the polls close, why are these smaller states? Oh, right, I know. Counties were still actually I have a friend, I'm from California, but in Oregon now, so I feel your pain, John Tisha. But I have a friend who in Kern County, a couple people are going against because they're demanding recounts because their ballots didn't get counted until after they were already declared. And so people in California all over are getting mad. So even if Trump doesn't win California, keep looking at those numbers because they're changing.
Well, you heard about the scam that they had in Los Angeles. They found 8,000 ballots were fraudulent from 2 guys. 2 guys were able to fraudulently give 8,000 ballots. So imagine 800 people can do it.
I wanted to address.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know who was going. There was a question asking about how you can't track your ballots or whatever. And what I had to learn was Your ballot, so most of the ones for the online tracking are for ones that were mailed out, whether you mailed them back or whether you dropped them off in person, because they are tracked. Mine, I just posted mine not too long ago that it finally was counted. But what you end up having to do for each of your counties, you have to end up calling the voter registrar's office to locate your ballot. It is your right to know where your ballot is, and they have that in place specifically for that reason. But you have to physically call them. You have to find your number for your local area, find it and call and ask them where it is, and then they'll help you find that, period. And then I was going to say, my county. So when I called mine, she said that they have until November 29th to count all of the ballots in my county. So, yeah.
November 29th. You see how they keep changing the rules? You see that, right? Pennsylvania
Yeah.
was one of the big ones. Wisconsin, another one. Real big on changing the rules right before, like, no timing at all. No timing at all. They just switched the rules on how it's supposed to go. I call bullshit. But if you guys don't mind, I want to play this other clip of the lady. What's her name? Lady with the short hair.
You're talking about Sidney Powell.
Sidney Powell. Sidney. I'm gonna pull her up.
Rudy's sweating, man.
But our ballots get calculated, many of them outside the United States.
His hair dye. Look at his hair dye dripping
Completely
down
open
his.
to hacking, completely open to change.
Leave them alone.
And it's being done by a company that specializes in voter fraud. I'll let Sidney describe that to you.
Thank you, Rudy.
Before we do this, guys, Sidney Powell's about to talk. If you could, share this video if you're on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, share the shit out of this because I'm being shadow banned. They own my black ass, and I know it ain't because I'm black. It's because I'm black and conservative. So if you love me and you love conservatism, especially a black guy that's conservative, please go ahead and share this video for me if you love me, or if you just think I got a nice beard or a nice smile. It helps. I appreciate you.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States. The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has explained how it all works. His affidavit is attached to the pleadings of Lynn Wood in the lawsuit he filed in Georgia. It is a stunning, detailed affidavit because he was with Hugo Chavez while he was being briefed on how it worked. He was with Hugo Chavez when he saw it operate to make sure the election came out his way. That was the express purpose for creating this software. He has seen it operate, and as soon as he saw the multiple states shut down the voting on the night of the election, he knew the same thing was happening here, that was what had gone on. Now, the software itself was created with so many variables and so many back doors that can be hooked up to the internet or a thumb drive stuck in it or whatever. But one of its most characteristic features is its ability to flip votes. It can set and run an algorithm that probably ran all over the country to take a certain percentage of votes from President Trump and flip them to President Biden, which we might never have uncovered had the votes for President Trump not been so overwhelming in so many of these states that it broke the algorithm that had been plugged into the system. And that's what caused them to have to shut down in the states they shut down in. That's when they came in the back door with all the mail-in ballots many of which they had actually fabricated. Some were on pristine paper with identically matching perfect circle dots for Mr. Biden. Others were shoved in batches. They're always put in a certain number of batches, and people would rerun the same batch. This corresponds to our statistical evidence that shows incredible spikes in the vote counts at particular times, and that corresponds to eyewitness testimony of numerous people who have come forward and said they saw the ballots come in the back door at that time. Notably, the Dominion executives are nowhere to be found now. They are moving their offices overnight to different places. Their office in Toronto was shared with one of the Soros entities. One of the leaders of the Dominion project in overall is Lord Malloch Brown, Mr. Soros' number 2 person in the UK and part of his organization. There are ties of the Dominion leadership to the Clinton Foundation and to other known politicians in this country. Just to give you a brief description of how this worked, I'm going to quote from a letter that was written, and I will read that to make sure I get the quotes right. This person was objecting to the United States acquisition of Sequoia voting systems by Smartmatic, a foreign-owned company. I believe this transaction raises exactly the sort of foreign ownership issues that CFIUS is best positioned to examine for national security purposes. It's undisputed that Smartmatic is foreign-owned and it has acquired Sequoia. They keep changing the names as they go along. Different times when a problem comes up, they just create another corporation and call it a different name. But it was a voting machine company doing business in the United States. Sequoia voting machines were used to record over 125 million votes during the 2004 presidential election in the United States. Smartmatic now acknowledges that Antonio Mujica, a Venezuelan businessman, has controlling interest in Smartmatic, but the company has not revealed who all the Smartmatic owners are. According to the press, Smartmatic's owners are hidden through a web of offshore private entities, and that is in fact true. Smartmatic has been associated with the Venezuelan government led by Hugo Chavez, which is openly hostile to the United States, and of course, as we all know, communistic and really brutalizing its own people. The system has been continued there by Mr. Maduro and ensured his election. Smartmatic's possible connection to the Venezuelan government poses a potential national security concern in the context of its acquisition of Sequoia, because electronic voting machines are susceptible to tampering, and insiders are in the best position to engage in such tampering. This letter expresses concern of the Chicago 2006 primary election. And it ends by saying the products and services that are of Venezuelan origin and evaluate Smartmatic's ownership to determine who could have influence and control over these and other Sequoia products and services are important to the national security of the United States. This letter was written to Hank Paulson on October 6, 2006 by Congresswoman Carolyn B. Maloney. Senators Klobuchar and Warren have raised these concerns as recently as December 2019. Why our government has not taken them seriously is beyond my comprehension, unless they have, some of the 3-letter agencies have used them themselves in other parts of the world. We know that the technology was exported to affect an election in Argentina. That's admitted by our friend who wrote the affidavit about Hugo Chavez and his interest in Smartmatic. Again, in 2006, Carolyn Maloney wrote the Honorable John Snow, the Secretary of the Treasury, about the issues. Speaking of Smartmatic's leadership, one of the Smartmatic patent holders, Eric Coomer, I believe his name is on the web as being recorded in a conversation with Antifa members saying that he had the election rigged for Mr. Biden, nothing to worry about here, and they were going to F Trump. His social media is filled with hatred for the president and for the United States of America as a whole, as are the social media accounts of many other Smartmatic people. There has been widespread use of this. Dominion itself is utilized in 2,000 jurisdictions in 30 states. It has been uncertifiable in multiple states who realized all the problems that it had, including Texas. Experts have described it across the board, from a Princeton group of 3 professors to experts that we have talked to about its end user vulnerabilities. People can admittedly go in and change whatever they want. They can set the ratio of votes from one thing to another. They can say that a Biden vote counts as 1.25 and a Trump vote counts as 0.75. And those may be the numbers that were actually used here. It's not just the swing states that were affected. The algorithm was likely run across the country to affect the entire election. Like I said, we only discovered it this year because of the overwhelming number of votes for President Trump in the swing states that caused the machines to have to shut down for them to backfill for adding votes. We have evidence of different numbers of votes being injected into the system, the same identical, unique 6-digit number multiple times in at least 2 states that we've analyzed so far. And I'm talking about like 341,542 votes for Biden and 100,012 for Trump. There's no explanation, no logical explanation for the same numbers being injected 20 minutes apart into the machine. The software manual itself, you can download it from the internet, and I would encourage you all to read it because it specifically advertises some of these things as features of the system. Why it was ever allowed into this country is beyond my comprehension, and why nobody has dealt with it is absolutely appalling. The machines were easily accessible to hackers. There's video on the net that it will explain to you how a kid with a cell phone can hack one of these voting machines. There's been no oversight of Dominion or its software. Workers in each county were trained by Dominion, but there's no evidence of any monitoring otherwise. We have testimony of different workers admitting that they were trained how to dispose of Trump votes and add to Biden votes. The software has a feature pursuant to which you can drag and drop any number of batches of votes to the candidate of your choice or simply throw them away. So we have mathematical evidence in a number of states of massive quantities of Trump votes being trashed, just simply put in the trash like you would on your computer with any file, and Biden votes being injected. That's addition to the flipping. I mean, it really happens in 2 ways. There's an algorithm that runs that automatically flips all the votes, and then each operator has the ability to go in, override settings. They can ignore a signature. They can ignore the top line of the ballot. They can go down ballot and select who they want to change the results for. The gentleman who founded Smartmatic, there's video of him on the internet explaining that, yes, at least one occasion, he admits they changed 1 million votes with no problem. Many of the jurisdictions that have had this problem might not have known of the issues, but many did. And I think a full-scale criminal investigation needs to be undertaken immediately by the Department of Justice and by every state's equivalent Attorney General's office or state investigatory unit, because there's evidence of different benefits being provided to the people who spent $100 million of taxpayer money at the last minute for their state to get the Dominion voting systems put in time for this election in different ways. There's one person that a lawyer told me got, quote, election insurance, meaning that he would be able to make sure he was elected. I'm sure they explained that feature in detail to many people who expressed interest in putting this voting system in. Texas denied certification of the Dominion system in 2019, but there are no doubt issues with the software that Texas did use, unbeknownst to Texas, I would imagine, since they went to great trouble to examine the Dominion systems and reject them. But other software, the source code that does the alterations is embedded, we have been told, in the source code all across the country and all the voting machines. There's no doubt it has been used to alter elections in other countries. We know specifically that Venezuela exported it for that purpose to Argentina.
I don't exactly know how much proof is needed, but this is a lot. I mean, that right there, that's a whole bunch. That's a whole bunch. That shit's crazy. And apparently I'm fired.
And other Latin companies to make sure that the corrupt rulers who were willing to pay the highest price for being in office were allowed to rig their elections. This is stunning, heartbreaking, infuriating, and the most unpatriotic acts I can even imagine for people in this country to have participated in any way, shape, or form. And I want the American public to know right now that we will not be intimidated. American patriots are fed up with the corruption from the local level.
Fuck yeah!
To the highest level of our government, and we are going to take this country back. We are not going to be intimidated. We are not going to.
Feel free to turn your mics on and say "fuck yeah" when you want to when stuff like that happens.
Now, President stand right.
Fuck yeah!
And we are going to reclaim the United States of America for the people who vote for freedom.
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, Sidney. And I like the heart on your back of your shirt. You got heart, girl.
She's been fighting this for years.
Excuse me, that we're not
For
at the
years.
questions at this
Here
point.
we go.
So excuse me, we're not at the questions at this point. My name is Jenna Ellis, and I'm the senior legal advisor to the Trump campaign. And I'd like to just explain now where we've been and where we're at and what you can expect from this process.
Go ahead, little Kayleigh McEnany. Go ahead. Okay.
Oh, she's about to go in on their ass. Watch.
I see. That right there just got me. And I don't usually like blonde hair and blue eyes, but she just did it right there. That was nice. That was nice. Go ahead. I'm gonna let her go and do her thing. Do your thing, girl.
Process. So what you have heard, I'm sure, in the fake newspapers tomorrow will be one of two things. Either there was not sufficient evidence that we've presented, or we spoke too long. Okay, so what you've heard now is basically an opening statement. This is what you can expect to see when we get to court to actually have a full trial on the merits, to actually show this evidence in court and prove our case. This is not a Law and Order episode where everything is neatly wrapped up in 60 minutes. For those of you who are here in this room or have maybe tuned out in other networks, clearly you've never been court reporters. Trials take time. Putting on evidence takes time. This is basically an opening statement so the American people can understand what the networks have been hiding and what they refuse to cover, because all of your fake news headlines are dancing around the merits of this case and are trying to delegitimize what we are doing here. Let me be very clear that our objective is to make sure to preserve and protect election integrity. President Trump has been saying from day one that this is about maintaining free and fair elections in this country. It is not about overturning an outcome. It is about making sure that election integrity is preserved, and every American should want that. If every American is not on board with that, you have to ask yourself why. And if your fake news network is not covering this or allowing you to cover it fairly and accurately, you should ask yourself why. This is absolutely a legitimate legal basis. We have been asked to provide an entire case that generally would take years in civil litigation. I've been a prosecutor. I have tried cases with far simpler facts. One thing happened in a matter of minutes, and it still takes days. And we go through a jury process. This is the court of public opinion right now. We are not trying our case in the court of public opinion, because if we were, we would get unbiased jurors. I would strike 99% of you from the jury, and I would be allowed to because of the fake news coverage you provide. You are not unbiased jurors. And until you step out of your role as a journalist and actually go into a courtroom and you are a judge on a bench that has sworn an oath to be unbiased in our separation of powers, then your opinion does not matter. The facts matter, the truth matters. And if you are fair reporters, you will cover that fairly and appropriately, and you will allow coverage of our media team here and our legal team. That is absolutely shocking that all you cover are around the margins And I've seen all of you taking pictures right now, and I can anticipate what your headlines are going to be. If you are not willing to talk about the evidence that has been presented, then that is absolutely unacceptable for journalistic standards. This is an opening statement. This is something where we have told you what the evidence will show, and we have given you a brief description. That happens in a courtroom all the time, where that's not the fact-finding process. That is just an overview. That is what we have given you today, because the American people deserve to know what we have uncovered in the last couple of weeks. Remember, this is such a short time frame, and this is an elite strike force team that is working on behalf of the president and the campaign to make sure that our Constitution is protected. We are a nation of rules, not a nation of rulers. There is not someone that just gets to pick who the next president is outside the will of the American people. And that is our task, because when we talk about voter fraud, it's actually election official fraud. That cannot stand. The Constitution requires that the state legislatures are the ones that make election law. It still has to go by the US Constitution. But what has happened in this case is that state and local level officials, and all the way up, have changed the rules. That's what the Democrats do. If they don't like the rules, they change them. And they change them at the last minute. They manipulate them. They want to tear down our American system. Our founders were so brilliant that they anticipated this, that there would be corruption, there would be foreign influence, there would be attempts to manipulate the outcome of the election, especially with who they called our chief magistrate. I would encourage all of you to go home and actually read Alexander Hamilton's Federalist 68 and see what he described as an advocacy position to adopt and ratify the Electoral College and the process by which we select our president. We select our president through the Electoral College not because it disenfranchises voters, but because it is a security mechanism for exactly the type of corruption that we are uncovering. And every American should be grateful and thankful that our founders had the foresight to put in those protections and provisions to make sure that your legitimate legal vote is not disenfranchised. That is what we are advocating for. We want to make sure to protect election integrity. And your president, President Trump, we are so proud that he is in this fight, because he understands that when he swore his oath of office, he swore an oath to uphold and defend the United States Constitution. That is what he is doing.
Okay, real quick, just got to tell you guys, I got some hot stuff right off the press. They already done fact-checked Giuliani and the whole press conference. They fact-checked a man that's a lawyer with testimony and affidavits. They fact-checked him on these things. How does that even fucking work? I'm sorry. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. I'm fired.
And the picture they used. Not biased at all. Not biased at all.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I need my job back.
And that is what we are doing. We are confident that through this multiple pathway to victory, we will get to the actual outcome that the evidence shows. But this is not about overturning an election on our part. It's about making sure that we protect and preserve free and fair elections for all future American elections. If the United States caves to corruption or this type of election integrity disaster, then no election will be secure from here on out. And we all need to be keenly aware of that. We are the representatives here that are standing in this gap and defending President Trump and defending you, the American people, at the end of the day. This is ultimately about the United States of America. And we want to make sure to protect and defend that. And as my colleagues have said, we will not back down. We won't be intimidated. President Trump will not be intimidated. You, the American people, should not be intimidated. You, the press, should cover this fairly and should know that this matters to election integrity and it matters to the future of our nation. So we have given you an overview, but recognize this is not a court of law. We will get there, and we have time, and we have constitutional provisions that will step in when we show the corruption and the irredeemably challenged and overturned votes that are absolutely corrupt in all of these counties. It is irredeemably compromised. We will show that, but you have to give us that opportunity. This has been just our opening statement, and we have an opportunity to get there, and we have time, and we will do that. This is the United States of America, and we stand proudly for President Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
One more point.
The world is watching this.
Was
I
she
have
not a
gotten
fucking
multiple
beast or
emails
what?
from people in other countries who watch
Just got it. I had to add it. She's a fucking beast.
We have witness testimony that the same things were done in those countries as this was exported from Venezuela and by Maduro and by Mr. Chavez and by Cuba. And of course, we know China also has a substantial presence in Venezuela and substantial interest in making sure that President Trump does not continue in office. This is the consummate foreign interference in our election in the most criminal way you can possibly imagine. It must be shut down. We know, for example, that one of the Dominion's highest level employees or officers went to Detroit himself to man the Detroit Operations Center, where he could watch the votes coming in real time and decide what file folder in the system to put those votes into. That's why you see massive spikes after hours when people were told that all the votes were in and all the votes were counted. Many Dominion employees have already reached out to us to tell us the truth. They are Americans who want to ensure election integrity like we do. I would encourage every Dominion or Smartmatic employee who is fed up with the corruption in this country to come forward as soon as possible, because these are serious federal offenses that I am confident the Department of Justice will be in pursuit of in very short order if they are not already.
All right. A few questions?
Yeah, Mayor Giuliani, this sort of reminds of 30 years ago, they had federal judges doing consent decrees over elections. You got a federal judge overseeing the election. This is old Chicago days. Will you be asking that in Georgia, where you have two Senate races that have the U.S. District Court judges and federal authorities monitoring elections?
I can't say what's going to be done about.
Right now we have sort of a Operation Great.
Okay, that was a whole lot, you guys. That was a whole lot. I didn't think we were gonna be out here this long. I didn't even think we were gonna pull this up, but I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did. Straight up. How does that make y'all feel, though? That's what I want to know.
To me, it's sketchy as shit. Like, how long have they been doing this? Take parties out of it. Like, how long has the nation been controlling elections? I mean, we always had us versus them mentality. Then everybody decided to get invested, including myself, this year. But then it's like, how long have they been doing this? And the left wants to say, oh, he's just boohooing, whatever. Well, what about in 2024 when it doesn't go their way again, because nobody's going to reelect Blue because they're pissed off? How is this going to go? You know what I mean?
This has been going on for a long time. Oh, stop
Look
it.
at how they did my man, y'all.
Isn't
They
that
had to
rude?
get him with the hair dye. Look like he about to have a stroke. You see him? Oh.
Fact check,
That's messed
but
up.
we're not biased. We're not biased, right?
Oh,
No.
look it. There we go. Look it. Vaccination.
Jesus.
Look at this junk, man. I'm trying to tell you guys.
This is why fact checkers are getting sued.
It's horrible.
They've been at this for a long time. Sidney Powell has been fighting whatever evil has been going on behind closed doors for years, since the first election of Trump, and who knows how much more she's been doing before that. But there's documentaries about it. There's the Plot Against the President that came out on Amazon this year about a lot of that stuff that happened from 2014, 15.
I know what happened.
What year are we in?
You know how long they've been doing this to elections? I'm gonna tell you how. I'm gonna tell you how long. It was right after President Lincoln. It was like, we cannot have another president come in and free the darkies. Anything that we're doing, we have to stay on top of this. He let them go. Do you believe this?
It's facts.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I do not doubt that the powers of that be, yes, they want slavery in all forms and fashion. Physical slavery, mental slavery, spiritual slavery. They want slavery on this land for as long as they can control it. And it's been going on and going on. And finally it's coming to light. And I'm telling you, God is a God of process and a God of order. And everything has to happen in order for the end game to happen. In order for us to get to that finish line, all of these things have to happen. We're going to sit here looking like, what is going on? How come nobody sees this? Is no one paying attention? But all the dominoes have to fall in order for that light to be shown on all the darkness at the end of this. I promise you, keep that hope, keep that faith. It's going to happen.
Hey,
And
that was a good
it's
word.
been happening forever. I mean, I live in Chicago, one of the most laughed about when it comes to politics in all of America. Like, they've had nothing but crooked politicians here before I was freaking born. So just like now, this with this past election, our state's attorney Kim Foxx won again. I don't know anybody that fucking voted for her.
I don't know how Joe Collins didn't get it. I was there. I was in California. I was having a good time. Look, he was in the heart of the hood. You feel me? Everybody out there voted for this man, yet he lost to old, decrepit. She looked like just the life been sucked out of her. You know, every time I see her on the news stuff, you see them voters out there, you better get them. You know what I'm saying? That lady, you know, come out, Maxine. Yeah. How the hell did she win?
I'm telling you, I really do believe, like,
even Democrats don't like her.
This has been happening. So when, like, I talk to people that are like Biden and Harris supporters, they're like, oh, there's no way Trump's just a sissy. I'm like, you live in Chicago. Shut the fuck up. You know better. They throw people under the bus all the goddamn time.
I'm trying to tell you.
It's ridiculous.
I just got one question. I got one question.
Just stupid. That is it. I don't know why a lot of people like to hold back. You can't call people stupid. No, you guys are dumb. And it's absolutely sad how stupid you are to accept an election like this. You're dumb. You like being
you gotta call them sheeple. They're sheeple.
And that's the thing, like, people don't realize, like, even though we're the ones like talking about this and like going off of, because we feel literally that there's just way too much evidence, right? Like, we think with our brain, not with our fucking feelings. So what they're not understanding is that today, this is our candidate. A year, 2 years, 4 years, this could be your candidate. Every single American deserves the right to vote and have their vote count. Period. Mm-hmm. That's what I don't understand, why people don't get that. How do we unite and create unity and a time for healing when there is no transparency? Like, zero transparency. There is no such thing as integrity right now.
Nope.
Like, people don't even know what the definition of that is right now. And I'm like, make that make sense to me.
You know, and that shit, it goes all the way across the board. Like, literally. When it comes, I feel like America's morals have just gotten screwed. Straight up. You look at everything, not even just the election in the political world. I'm talking all the way down to pastors. I'm talking to communities. Everybody's just fucked up, bro. People's morals are gone.
Their morals are like self-serving. It's all about them, like what they can get. Everything is self-serving. There is no moral compass anymore.
I'm telling you, man. I'm just ready to.
Well, that's because they're blinded. They're blinded right now. And they're going to stay blinded until it's time to not be blinded. And it's going to be a while. It's going to be a little bit.
I wish they had to be blinded by the light. Why can't they do that? The song Blinded by the Light. Why can't they do that?
Because the light shows the truth. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They're blinded by the darkness. They're blinded by the facade and by the trickery that's right here. They're blinded by it, even though they're walking.
I need the damn light. You say they blinded the truth. They exposes the truth. I need the light to run
through.
It's
coming. It's coming. His people are standing up one by one. They're standing up, and we're going to continue to encourage and uplift those people that are in those places because we need them, and it's very important. So hope, faith, and love right here. It's coming, and it's strong, and it's moving, and I just pray that people's eyes, ears, hearts, and understandings are open to whatever that message is for them, so that those shackles could be removed from their hands and their feet and their minds and their eyes. And it's coming. I promise you, it's coming. So that light is coming.
People wanted Biden so bad that they voted from the grave. People wanted Biden's campaign was so lit. The motherfuckers that was in the grave was like, yo, nigga, get us to them for me. Please.
Hey, the enemy's gonna do whatever it needs to do. It's gonna do all of it. All the tricks that the enemy has, it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. And it's gonna pull it. It's gonna the illusion over here and this illusion over here, it's gonna bring it in, and whatever it could do to tally up its ranks, that's what's gonna happen.
Homies that have passed away from the hood that is in the ground even voted this shit. I looked up a couple names of people that passed away. They shouldn't. They've probably never voted before in their life, but they voted. They voted this time, baby. They was like, yo, look.
I swear they had people go to the cemetery and just like walk.
They knocked on headstones. Hey, you want to vote for Biden? They had a Ouija board. Yes. I'm trying to tell you. Now, how the hell did they get their signature? I wonder.
Well, some of them don't. They're claiming some of them don't have signatures. They're not verified.
That's what I was waiting for you to say. They didn't have the signature. The ballots should have been counted. Damn. Right. It's not that hard.
Well, why is okay, so in Michigan, I don't know if you guys heard the part when they were talking about Michigan was going to go ahead and actually validate the votes. And then Trump's team put in a damn lawsuit. And then here now they withdrew it and they're not going to certify the votes anymore.
You know what?
I'm like, oh, are we scared?
They terrified. But look at what Mike Wilson said. Biden received 100% of the dead votes. So you mean to tell me no dead fucking people voted for Trump? That's just bullshit.
I didn't know
are Democrats. Is that what you're telling me?
I didn't know zombies were Democrats.
Does that mean that when you die, you don't become an angel, you become a Democrat? Is that what that means?
I don't want to die, guys. I don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
I'm afraid to die.
I don't want to go either if I got to be a damn demon-crat.
I just left the Democrat Party. Don't make me go back.
That at all.
Bullshit. Jesus.
I just left. Don't make me go back.
People don't even believe, the sad part about it, seriously, people don't even believe in Jesus. They don't believe in anything but themselves. They believe in party. They believe in everything worldly. And I don't know how many ways to explain it to people. This shit ain't going with you. The only thing you should be really concerned about is your spirit. And if you're right, I'm for real. People are evil. I watched the MAGA march. People are evil. Kids got attacked. Families got attacked. Police
you need some God in your life.
Nothing.
You need God in your life, y'all. You hear me? You Democrats. You need God in your life because I wouldn't have. Look, I never would have made it.
Oh my God.
I never could have made it without you. I would have lost it all.
See, I can't even listen to what's his name.
Now I see how you were there for me, and I can't say I'm stronger. And Lord, if I die, don't let me become a demon-crat.
You don't have a choice.
Well, that's not going to happen. If you believe in Jesus, it's not going to happen.
You better believe. I don't know. I think some of them people was Christians that voted from the grave. I'm just saying.
No, they got all the weird.
That's not happened to me. So,
shit, those Christians are rolling around in their grave. They're like, oh, hell no.
They probably in heaven like, Jesus, you see the shit that they doing down there?
Yeah, they're like,
Biden. They made me vote for you. Didn't you tell them they had to go with Trump? All bad. All bad. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I got a little carried away. I needed to make some people laugh because, today's a good day. After watching that, it's a good day. It's hopeful. The rest of the country can feel hopeful. The people that are like, yo, man, I don't know. This election is bad. It's crazy. I'm about to give up. No, now you don't got to give up because they ain't going to put out everything. But even what they just put out is more than enough to show that we have a legit fight on our hands.
Well, this is the thing, people think
I can sing viewers. course I can
They
sing.
don't believe, like they'll say, like I had somebody messaging me, like people are saying they don't believe Rudy Giuliani, they don't believe Sidney Powell. I'm like, first of all, you got to consider who's sending you this type of shit, because these are legal teams. Trump didn't just get, like the corner store lawyer. Like he didn't just round up, the bottom of the barrel. Like the man has always been 3 steps ahead. And I said this from day one. Like he's always been ahead of them. Do you think he's gonna really just lay down and let them use him as a damn doormat?
Nope.
Like, let's wait it out. Let's see. Keep your faith in God, because whatever happens in the dark comes to light. First and foremost, good will always prevail.
I was talking to my boy the other day. And I'm like, bro, Trump gonna win this election. He ain't political. He's a hood cat. You feel me? I go, bro, Trump gonna win this election. He go, oh yeah, on the G, I already know he gonna win the election. Straight up gangbanger, bro. Straight. Everybody and their mama knows Trump's gonna win this. This is far from. I'm talking about all the way in the hood. We're in a basement, and this brother like, oh yeah. I'm telling bro, on the G, he gonna win, bro. I'm like, hey, I believe you when you do that. Do it again.
How many of you guys think that if this, well, I'm not gonna say if, I'm gonna say when Trump gets a second term, that we'll have a civil war?
We'll have a civil war either way.
I don't think so.
I'm here for it.
I don't think either way.
Me too.
I don't think either way.
There's a lot of patriots. There's a lot of people who want to stand up right now as it is. And so if it doesn't go that way, something has to give. Like, it's not going to stay like this. Something has to give. And the battle, whatever you want to call it, is not going to be just between on this land physically patriots or whatever, but it's going to be a spiritual battle too. Like, let's not forget that. That's for real, for real. Yep. A lot of people who were blinded this time around, they will see, not all of them are going to see at the end of this, but some of them will see, well, the blinders will come off, and they'll see, and then they're going to join us, and we're going to have to bring them in and reconcile them, because they're going to feel like idiots. They're going to feel embarrassed. They're going to feel, like, what happened? How did that happen to me? And so we're going to have to reflect the love of Christ to them specifically. And then it starts. It's not started yet. This is just the little trickles of when it comes, but something is going to come, because something has to happen.
Let me tell you something. And I'm going to say this very clearly. I'm going to say this. I believe in God. I love God with all my heart. But if it pop off, I'm popping them off.
Right? I want all the smoke.
Do you feel me? Do you feel me? Look, it's hard when you reform your life and you change your life around. I swear to God, there's so many instances where I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and do this.
Hey, God had archangels, man. It's cool. He had archangels.
Right. And I think that's what I'm trying to tell you. I think he might have made me an archangel, because I'm ready to arc them at an angle. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of this. I'm sick of these people.
There's a reason that you can't find ammo, and if you can, it's expensive. And there's a reason people are getting like 40,000 line numbers just to purchase guns. I'm in Oregon. We are allowed to have guns. We are not that strict. And there is no way you are getting a gun and taking it home today unless you hit the lottery.
I know blacksmiths. And you can go to the hood right now and get any gun you want. It's a sad fact. It's a sad fact. You can go into the hood right now and get any gun you want. So I don't know where all these people, you know why? Because people buy guns legally. Not that I advocate buying guns illegally, but in the case of a scenario like the one mentioned, it's possible. That's all I could say. That's all I'm going to say. Not condoning any of this. I wish that nothing bad happens. I do not want any kind of civil war. I do not want to see people fighting against people that are supposed to be together. I don't want to see none of that. But if it does happen, people like me were bred for this. So, that being said, come to Cash's house. You'll be safe.
It's going to go down. It is. People are tired.
Yep.
And I know patriots. I know plenty of people in militia groups that are waiting. You make one wrong move. Let them say Biden won the election. Watch.
I don't know, guys.
Let them say Biden won.
I don't know. I think, honestly, you see it's a lot more stuff happening on social media than it is in the real world. I mean, like, what do you say, Yo Gotti? It goes down in the DM. Keyboard warriors. That's it. It goes down in the DM. People don't be out here.
Because real bosses move in silence. They ain't gonna tell you nothing. They ain't gonna tell you their next move.
I was about to say that. I was about to say this. The silence is one that you got to watch out for because they got plans. They're planning and plotting. They got the whole thing going on right here, so that when it happens, they're already set up. They're like, don't even worry about it. I got this.
Yep.
You know what? We're talking about like guns and people not being able to get them. Like Illinois, they have really strict rules in regards to guns too. But because I'm the police and my husband's the police, I want to apologize publicly to my husband because I was always against him buying like all these crazy ass guns. So I'm sorry. I'm not so. I'm all for it right now. So
hey, you hear that? Look at what Angry said right now. See, and I was just about to mention that too to y'all. And all my family on my mom's side is all from West Virginia. All my family's from West Virginia, and all of them got guns.
They ready.
Everybody got guns. Right here, my man said 40 acres in West Virginia mountains, baby. I got it. And that's exactly where I would go. That's the perfect. Have you ever been to West Virginia? If you haven't, you need to go. It's beautiful. It's God's country. It's the great. I want to retire there. That's where I want to live for the rest of my life. I love it out there. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shelly.
No, I was just saying, so if they need a safe space and you're close to Chicago, you're welcome to come to my house.
I'll probably be there or you'll be here. It don't matter. We're going to click up if that happens. If pop off, we're going to pop off.
You already know.
I'm trying to tell you. That being said, guys, we don't want the violence. We don't want that to happen, all right? Not that we're trying to spark anything. We're not saying.
We're just ready.
Saying,
Yeah,
we're just ready. And I got a question for you ladies. How do you all get your eyebrows to be so pretty? You see these bushy ass things that I got on my face? I see you guys.
I do makeup, so they have to be on fleek.
Girl, can you hook me up?
Whenever you're ready.
I did Ocelli. I used to do makeup online as well, and so I've always the brows they always have to be.
I don't know nothing about that. I'm like such a tomboy.
That's because you have natural brows, though.
Huh? I got them forever brows, so we good.
She said she got them forever brows.
Forever brows.
I'm not mad at it, girl. I'll be painting them bitches in.
I started a watch party for this. I started a watch party for you, right? Because I wanted to see how many viewers we could get, and it's going down in my comment section. My page is turned. People are nuts.
My page
is that's loose on their ass. I was like, sometimes I'll be watching in your comments when you guys were talking to Kenya. I think it was last night, or I don't remember when it was. I was like, Suni, tag me in, girl, because I want to talk to Kenya.
Suni, when you do another one, invite me.
I'll be doing one today at 7.
My time 7.
Well, I don't know the times. I'm in Japan. All I know is it's 7 Eastern. I don't know.
Well, that's 6 p.m. Central, Cash.
Okay, so it'll be 6 for you.
It'll be
7 Eastern is 6 p.m. here.
Huh? Wait.
Central Standard. She said 7 p.m. Eastern.
No, I think she means far Eastern though, like not Eastern.
No.
No, I'm talking about the U.S.
Her 7 Eastern is Central Standard Time. You and I are on Central Standard Time.
Okay, so 7 p.m. is my time.
6 p.m. our time.
So an hour and 45 minutes.
6 p.m. our time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have you and Shelly on. You'll see. It goes down, but I don't hold back. Like if you're gonna comment
on there.
Yes, that's why. Didn't you see my comments? I was like, Cash. Suni was typing in the private chat. I was like, let us loose.
Let us loose. Let us loose.
I said, let us loose.
Let us loose.
I mean, I ain't gonna be disrespectful.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
That's how I'm gonna be on your show tonight. I'm gonna be my voice on high pitch. Let us loose. We gotta go.
No, Suni does not play. And oh my God, when she has Marlon on, I was like, you know what? I'm here for it. I'm like, oh Marlon,
Suni, give him a sample. How you gonna be tonight?
Well, I gotta have a troll.
Oh, you be going on troll.
Let me see.
Respond to Wendy's comment, Suni.
Wendy.
Wendy
Oh
Scott.
yeah, Wendy. So Wendy said, and I'm going to read her comment. Where is it?
On
Where
ours?
did it
On this one?
go? I put it in a private chat. Oh, here it is. She said, all I got from this, and she was talking about the press conference that we were watching, is delaying an election for the fun of it. Way to be a good example, Mr. Ex-President. And for people like that, I'm just going to tell you, bro, you're stupid. Nobody cares what you think. And the fact that you're okay with this election being like this, who gives a fuck? Thank you. That's how I feel. And I think that, like I said, people like that are dumb. Who, this is a delay of an election. No, it's not. It's called integrity. It's called actually seeing if he actually won. And if Biden won, then we'll all shut the fuck up. But until that time comes, I will be on here running my mouth. Cash is going to be on here running his mouth. Shell's going to be on here. These two ladies will be here. And you guys can be triggered. That's it. And I hope she's still watching.
Bang, bang.
That's the funniest is when the trolls are in the comments, but they stay in the fucking comments.
You know what? I think we need to do a daily rant.
I'm like, at that point, you're a fan. You're a fan.
Yo, I'm about to
Welcome.
start up a daily rant thing where we
I
go
do that.
in.
You gotta join me.
I'm not gonna be called. I'm not gonna do what you just did though. I mean, I'll do some other stuff, but I ain't gonna do that because she might be a little challenged or whatever. But I don't want to say that because I'm already censored like a son bitch on there, and they on the censors found me some more. I can't use the excuse that I'm black.
I know. The other night, remember the other night when we were all on? You had like 2,500 damn watchers.
Oh yeah,
and
people.
And you were not holding back. Suni
No.
was not holding back, and she was going ham. I was like,
Tony be going nuts, man.
Yeah.
I caught
But that's why I
one
love
of
you.
your Sidney.
You
I
did
caught
what?
one of your shows, and I don't remember who you were with. You were with a male, and you guys were looking for a liberal, I think, or maybe someone that was in your comments, and you were trying to get him. You had the link in the comments, but nobody would come on. And I was like, ooh, I seen it. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll join right now. I got some time. And then I realized that you guys were looking for a liberal, and I was like, oh, that's not me.
Yeah. Yo, they come in my section and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. So you know what I do? I say, all right, it's time to drop the link. And everybody in the audience says, click the link. If you're not going to click the link, shut up. That's it.
Yeah, but I love y'all. I'm just gonna say that I'm getting amped up right now. Like I feel my blood pressure rising. I'm just about to start.
So they're asking, are you going to have Kenya on again? Kenya's a lost cause, guys. I love Kenya because she's American, but you just got to accept her for what it is.
I think Kenya honestly does not research a thing because she backpedaled so many times. And this is my thing. We can agree to disagree on things.
Yeah.
But when I'm hitting you with straight facts, and when I swear every time she told Corey, oh, you're better than me. I'm ugly. You're right. I'm wrong. I was like, kick her off. Just kick her off.
No.
Yeah, I don't do that. No self-hating here. I love me.
That's not mentally healthy.
Not at all.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Oh, no.
But she literally stayed on. And then when she left the live, she stayed on again because I saw her in the comments again.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you guys something. You're gonna laugh a little bit, maybe. Maybe you might think I'm crazy, but I had a dream, right? And I really don't try to dream because the last nigga that had a dream got shot. So I try not to dream. But I had a dream. And when I had the dream, I wasn't myself in the dream. I was somebody else. So then I woke up freaking out, cold sweats, and I ran to the mirror making sure. I'm like, oh shit. And I had to look and make sure that I was still me. And when I did, I thank God. That's how much I love me. I just made that whole damn story up to tell you how much I love me.
I was like, what? You came back as a kid? What?
No, I was just trying to let you know that we don't do self-hating on here. If you hate yourself, call me and I'm gonna make you love yourself.
Thomas, come back at 7 p.m., buddy. I want to talk to you. Right?
Huh?
What did he say?
Who, me?
He's in my comment section.
Oh, okay.
He said Trump pays me. Give me the bag. Shoot, Trump, you need to pay me. That's how I feel.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, everybody thought I was being paid. I'm like, man, I ain't getting paid.
I'm like, why do they think that people get paid because
we believe in the president the way that we do, and we're black and we're not supposed to?
Oh,
That's
I
why.
got told to take away my they gotta revoke my Latina card, but I'm a coconut because I'm dark on the outside and white on the inside. I'm like, I'm not even dark.
I be fucking them up. They're like, you ain't black. I'm like, I know, bitch. I'm American.
Period.
Boom. That's what I tell them.
What's your site? If you want to find me, you can find me on YouTube and Facebook.
You can find me on OnlyFans, #cash.
Oh God.
Hell no. You be
know,
whining out.
Chris Brown's got an OnlyFans, so that means his career is officially over.
That means that he's a girl because girls only have those.
Well, I know there's some guys who have it.
That means they're girls.
They might be. Hey, you know, whatever floats their boat.
The beta males.
Just saying.
I don't
All
judge.
right, I gotta quit. I'm trolling myself now. You guys, give your closing statements. Take about 15 to 30 seconds. Who's going first? Let's go, Jantisha. She's been quiet.
Oh, you know, I'm just listening. Just listening. Closing statements. Well, number one, don't lose the faith. You see faith, hope, and love right here. Those are the three most powerful things in this world. Don't give up. Make sure you're praying. You're praying for your country. You're praying for the nation. You're praying for the people in the nation. You're praying for your leaders. You're praying for your spiritual freedom. I'm praying for your spiritual freedom. Don't lose hope. I know it looks kind of dark right now, but you all have light within you, and there's light in this world. And if the world is dark, how bright is that light? So don't forget that there's always a light in the dark. And I love you always, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you guys can follow Jantisha on her page. What's your page, Jantisha?
Jantisha is just my name, Jantisha Vigil. It's my Facebook profile, or you could search me on, I'm really active on there, or you can find my business page. It's just Jantisha. I also have a YouTube page, which is also just Jantisha. Super, super simple.
Gotcha. Let's bring up Miss Suni, the middle child.
If you want to find me, you can find me on YouTube. Just got to type in Hot Mike Suni. If you want to find me on Twitter and Instagram, it's @TheRealHotMike. You can find me on Facebook. Just type in Blanks Suni, BLANKS, and then Suni. And I guess my closing statements is pretty to the point. This election is a farce. Okay, we're allowed to want to have integrity within our country. We want people to be able to trust the voting system. We want people to trust the government because at the end of the day, they are here to represent us. So we need to hold them accountable. If you're not going to do that, then they will run amok, is what they've been doing for the past, forever?
Yep.
Until Trump.
Preach.
So wake up. Do your own research. Do your own research. You don't have to believe anything we said here. Do your own research. And we've got a country to save, people.
Let's save it. Good job, Suni. Let's bring up Miss Brittany, the war hero.
Biggest thing, be kind, everybody. Be freaking kind. It's okay to disagree with other people, but just be nice about it. We don't need echo chambers. Echo chambers do not help us grow. So disagree with people, but do it respectfully. Yes. Don't always listen to the media. And when you see something that is even slightly biased, ignore it. Don't read it. Don't entertain it. Don't do nothing, because 9 times out of 10, it's agenda driven. So yeah, be kind. That is my biggest message. Be freaking kind.
In the words of Tim McGraw, be kind.
Did he say that? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, something like always be humble and kind. Go ahead, Shelly.
I was waiting till you were done. So I just want to say, like, I believe in unity. I believe that we need to heal. I believe in all of those things. But I want people to know first and foremost that me questioning this election is not only just for me. It's for every American who has the right to vote. Every American who deserves to have their voice heard. So I'm not fighting just for myself. And I know maybe people can't understand that right now, but I am fighting for every American's right to have a fair election, because we are the people. They are put in office by us. They are working essentially for us to make us great, to make our nation great. We have one of the greatest nations in the world. And I don't want to lose that by sitting back and doing absolutely nothing and letting this be our new norm. I believe in transparency, and I believe in integrity. And we have to keep those things because we cannot have unity and we cannot have healing if those things are not on the forefront.
Girl, you just said a whole lot. Let me tell you. Okay. What do I want to say? Well, first and foremost, thank you guys for tuning in. The ones of you that got notified and you're here with me, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I mean, shadow banned, and it sucks because I'm not used to only being in front of this many people. Usually I'm like, okay, we're good. We got like 800 to 1,000. But it's okay. You guys are the ones that matter because you're here. Thank you. Some of y'all didn't get notified and showed up anyway. Thank you. Appreciate you. But my closing statement, look, rough times. It's a lot of dumbass people out there that talk a lot of dumbass things. And even though I love going off the handle, I've been really trying to check myself on that. So I'm going to go on Suni's show tonight, and I'm going to do my best not to be a jerk to these people that are trying to, they're probably going to come at us, I'm going to try to be a light. I'm going to try to be nice, like Brittany said. I'm going to try my best not to gloat because we're going to win this election. We already did. It's just been, a lot of bullshit going on with it. But overall, the overall message, unite, don't fight. All right. We can't fight against each other. A house divided against itself cannot stand. So even if I call you a dumbass, I'm calling you a dumbass out of love. All right. And that means you need to check your own ass because if it's dumb, it's your fault. All right. So unite, don't fight, be a street light because only you can be the change that you want to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart. I don't care if you're the richest man in the world, the most beautiful woman in the land. I don't care if you got the biggest muscles. I don't care if you got everything that your heart desires. Without God, you are at risk of losing it all. And when I mean losing it all, it's not those things that I mentioned. It's you, the essence of you, the inside of you. Like when you die, you might become a demon crat. Feel me? That was a joke. Love you guys. And I hope you have a great, great, great night. Tune in tonight on Suni's platform, which I will share on my page. Not that anyone's going to see it because I'm being shadow banned. So if you want to help me out, go ahead and share this video, like and subscribe to my channel because why not? I love you. You guys love me too. I'm out of here. Catch you on the next one. Peace.